Okay, you're not having a test tomorrow. I'll just give this in the form of an assignment. Okay, you can ask each other. You can ask me for all the help you need. I just need, again, I explained that situation yesterday. Now, you have this little sheet for the first part here. You got these little words that stand for operations. So plus, you got sum, add, increase by. I'll explain why it says parentheses as I do the problem. All those mean add. Minus, small minus itself, decrease by, difference, subtract. Times, okay, you got multiply, twice, product. If you see fractions like half of or quarter of, okay, those also mean times. And then times itself. Division, divided by, quotient, okay. Roots and powers, square root, you see that word right there, cubed root right there, and square is just a second power. Now, don't do this, but I'm going to circle these ones that say parentheses because I got to remember those, okay? Okay, now here's what you're doing. And now this is algebra, but it's kind of a different type of algebra. Okay, does it take long? Not really. Is it confusing to know how to write it? Yeah, it can be. Express each one of these as an algebra expression. Now it says the word backward. That means you're going to work your way backward. First off, you're going to underline all these operation words. So minus, sum, okay? Those are both on the list, sum, minus, okay? Start your way backwards. Either write a variable. So the first word I see is minus. So what am I minusing? Well, I'm minusing G and F. Okay. Then I see sum. Okay. So I write plus and then E would be right there. Okay. Now the word sum is one of those words in parentheses. So you need to circle the addition or parenthesize the addition part. When you see sum, difference, product, or quotient, that means you're going to parenthesize the sign and the two things that it comes between. Okay, you work your way backwards. Okay, number 2, add 3 to 5 times a number n. Okay, so you got times and add. So start with the n. Okay. Either write a number or variable, then times you put a dot, and then you put 5. Then add, you put plus, and you're going to put 3. Now, are any of those words one of my parenthesized words? Nope. That's it. You can also write 5n if you want. The dot, it doesn't really need to be there, but I'll put it there. Okay, 1/2. Remember, words that fractions are underlined. Those are operations, okay? And then minus and times. So I write y, work your way back, times 4, minus, then x, then 1/2 means times by 1/2. You can put a half in front of it or whatnot. Now, are any of those words in parenthesized? I don't think any of them were, okay? You can also write it as 1/2 x minus 4y. Remember, backwards. The square root of m divided by the cubed root of n, so I put n. Now, cubed root means I put a root over the n with a 3 in the sub because it's a cubed root. Now, backwards, divided by, put a division sign, m. And then the square root of m, that means I need to just put a square root. And then for square roots, I don't put a number there. I mean, if you put a 2, it's not a big deal, but that is how that's done. Again, do the best you can, work your way backwards. Divide x by the product of 25 and y. So I work my way backwards. I got y, then product means times, and I times by 25. Okay. Divide, and then I find a letter or number to put there. I would put x. Okay. Now, any of those words symbolize parentheses? Well, yeah, product. That means you put a parentheses around the multiplication part. Okay, next one. Underline those words. Product, minus, and square. So you got n and then product would be times, and then you got a 5, okay? Again, you have to put something there before your times, and then minus, then I see the m variable, okay? Then the square of m, so it would be square means a second power, just put a second power. Now, any of those words symbolize parentheses, yep, product, okay? So I need to make sure I get a parentheses around that portion of the expression. Okay, 1/4 of x plus the product of 5 and y. So 1/4 is a fraction, it would be 1/4 plus product. So I start with y, then I see product, I would times that with 5, plus, I would plus that with x, quarter means times, and you put the fraction 1/4, okay? Now, any of those words symbolize fractions. No, plus doesn't, okay? The fractions don't, but product certainly does. So we need to put a parentheses around the product, the 5 and the y. Not right there, though. That didn't say product. Okay, number 8, the sum of x and 5 divided by the difference of m and 6. Okay, so you underline those words, sum divided by and difference. Okay, so 6, then difference would be minus. Okay, what would you minus? Well, m's right there. Okay, and then divided by 5 plus, and then x. Okay, again, you write you gotta have those operations, and I need to see variables and numbers throughout that. Okay, now any of those words need parentheses. Well, the sum does. Okay, and I believe difference does too, right there. Okay, that means if I had numbers to put in there, we'd have to do those first. Now it says forward. When it says take, when it gives you a verb in front, it's forward. I mark that. Okay. Now you're working it forward. Okay. Square root, add, subtract, product. Okay. So the square root of r, first you got to find a number or a variable to start with. You'd find r as your first one, and then square root right there. Then add. Now you're going forward, okay, plus s, subtract, so minus. Then it's a little bit confusing. And then I get to product. Okay, well, what would you minus? Well, the only thing, you've already wrote r, you already wrote s, so it'd be 2, and the product times, and then t. Now, any of those words represent parentheses. Square root does not. Add, nope. Subtract, nope. Product certainly does, so we need to put that in a parentheses in. Multiply 5 and x, take the cubed root, so multiply, cube root, product, add. First you got to write something, okay? 5, then multiply, x, okay? Take the cubed root of the product, okay? So this is a little bit confusing here, okay? Cubed root of the product means you just put a cubed root because that does represent a product, okay? Because you really don't have anything else. You've already wrote 5, you wrote x. You got 12, but that's for adding, okay? So I just put a cubed root and then the product, 5 times x. We'll take the cubed root of that product, then add 12. Okay, right there. Okay, we put that away. Now remember the forwards, backwards rule with that. Okay, if it's backwards, you just start writing n product, okay, times 5, minus, okay, and then m, and then square of m, second power that. Okay, now the next one, number 11. These are kind of weird too. A car averages c miles per hour. Express the number of miles m driven when the car travels h miles. You're like, well, how am I supposed to do that? You didn't even give me any numbers to work with. Well, this c right here, and it says miles per hour, you're going to put c equals m divided by h. Okay, That's what miles per hour is. Now you have to rewrite this so that the m is by itself, which is pretty easy actually. You put a 1 under the c, and then you multiply your diagonals. So c times h is just ch, okay? 1 times m is just m, the 1's irrelevant. And now you got your m by itself, so over here you just write ch. Okay, number 12. Hot air passes through 4 ducts at 4 cubic inches per second. Express the number of cubic inches I pumped in s seconds. Okay, so again, C cubic inches per second. Now I don't want to put C because I've already used C. Okay, I is the cubic inches per second would be S. Now you have to get that that I by itself. So again, the best way to do that is put that over 1, and then C times S, CS, and then go back the other way, I times 1, and just be I. Now the I is by itself. So CS, but there's 4 of them, okay? So you put times 4, just a 4 in front, okay? You can also write times 4, it doesn't matter. So 4 times C times S. So you just kind of ignore the 4 and just put the 4 in front of the product right there. Now I screwed up number 13. Okay, we're going to do it, but this is the diagram you want to look at for 13. So I'm just going to look at them side by side. 14 doesn't have a diagram. Refer to the template shown. So from A to here is X, and B to here is 16, from here to here is 16, M, N. Now from here to here is 30, and from here to here is P. You need to fill in DE with the expression 30 minus P, okay? Because I'd take whatever P is and take 30 minus that, and that would be DE. Now express, and you're also going to want to put that in parentheses right there. So 30 minus P. Express the distance from point A to C, okay? So A to B at X plus 16, and then to C plus M. That's it. Distance from B to F, okay? So B to here's M plus, keep going, C to D's N, then B to F. So D to E's, actually here, if you're going from D to E and E to F, both of them, just put 30, okay? If you're going all the way from here to here, just look at the outside, so that would be 30. So again, M, N, then that's just 30 total. I'll explain why the 30 minus P there's a second. Express the distance from point D, I didn't put it, to point E, I think it's supposed to say. Okay, E, yeah. D to E, that's why the 30 minus P is there, so you can just write 30 minus P. Spread the distance from point A to point E. Okay, so A is X plus 16, A to E, okay, plus M plus N, plus, and then to E I put the 30 minus P, not the 30, because that's to the M, so parentheses 30 minus P. Boom. Okay. Now this problem would not have this diagram. This diagram is supposed to be put from here to here. A piece of property is going to be enclosed by a fence with 2 gates. The property is in the shape of a square with each side S feet long. Draw a square and put S. Okay. Each gate is G feet in length. Now you're going to put a gate here. Okay. Just put a couple gates. And that's G feet in length, both of them, okay? Express the total number of feet of fencing required. Okay, now we're putting fencing around the outside, okay? But take one of your sides, okay, just this one. you have S, okay, but you're not going to put gating around, you're not going to put fencing in the gate, so you need to put minus G. And you're going to parenthesize that. Now, how many of those sides do you have, okay? You got 2 of them, okay, where there's a gate. And you put S on all of them. S, 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 just draw those gates. Now, how many of those sides have the gate on them, where it'd be S minus G? There'd be 2 of them, so I put it 2 times right there. And then plus, and then these would be S. You don't have gates, so it'd just be S right there. Now, how many of those S sides don't have a gate? There'd be 2, so I put a 2 in front of that one. Okay, and that's the expression. That's how that works, okay? So it's 2 sides, 2 times S, but we have to subtract G on 2 of them, so times 2, then plus 2 just times S. The minus G is not there on that one because we don't have gates right there. It's kind of weird looking, but yeah. Okay, then it gets somewhat easy. Okay, X is 12, Y is 9. So 23 plus 12 minus 9. Some of these I'm not going to write out. You can just calculate them. 26. Okay, Y be 9, and then hit times, and then parentheses 3 plus X, so 3 plus 12. That would be 135. Okay, 1/2 times X. Okay, so we got 1 ABC 2 times, and then X is 12. Then I hit subtract, parentheses, and then Y is 9 minus 6. 3. Okay, X is going to be 12 plus, and then Y is going to be 9, and then times, parentheses, 12 divided by 3. Okay, 48. Okay, next part. Remember, a brace is going to be just like me putting in a parentheses. Okay, so you got 95.6 minus, and then parentheses, I got 7. Okay, plus, and then it says T. T is 5. That's the big thing's a plus, the little one's an actual T letter. And then parentheses 2. Now you got to hit times 2 so it knows it's times, and then plus, and then Y is 4. Now you make a parentheses and another parentheses for the brace. 48.6. Okay. Now, what I'm actually going to do here is just simplify these fractions, okay, so I can go straight into my calculator. So I'm just going to worry about this. So here I'm going to go parentheses 2 for X minus 4 for Y, hit the second power key, then hit divided by the 4, okay, 1. So I'm going to put a 1 above that. Now come over here and simplify. That's called a complex fraction, okay. Now, when doing complex fractions, you want to parenthesize the top and the bottom, especially like here. I should have probably done that here, but it was still going to be 1 because Y was all I had on bottom. So parentheses 2 times, and then T is 5 to the second power. Close parentheses, divided by, open up another one, and then 5 times 2, I got 5. So now I can pretty well punch this all in. So I got 1 plus, and then X is 2 times Y is 4. That's a T right there. Thankfully, T's aren't going to be on that packet tomorrow. So times T times 5 minus, and then this is 5. Makes it a lot less irritating, so 36. Now, it's also the same with roots. I want to simplify roots here and then do the rest of the problem, kind of like I do with the complex fractions. So I go second square root. I got 2 times X is 2 times Y is 4. Okay, that's 4, so I'm just going to put a 4 above that. Then I can hit 4 parentheses X, so 2 times. If there's not a sign, you put a times. You don't want it to say 24. It's 2 times 4 minus 5. 12. Okay, we got a complex fraction here, and we got a square root here. I want to figure these out first. So with complex fractions, parenthesize the top and bottom when you figure it out. Parentheses x, so 2 to the second power, times, and then t is 5. Close it, divided by parentheses, and then just 4. If it's just a single number, you really don't need the parentheses with the 4, 5. Okay. Square root, we got a 2 times, and then x, so 2. You got to hit times. It's not 22, it's 2 times x, plus, and then t is 5, minus 12. Close the parentheses when the square root ends, please, and that's 5. Now it becomes a lot simpler. I got my y still, 4 times 5 plus 5, 25. So again, if you have a complex fraction, simplify that first, or a square, or any kind of root, okay? And it should be pretty much academic from there. Story problems are pretty easy. You just plug it in numbers. A shaft with a 3.3 diameter is turned in a lathe at 110 revolutions per minute. I'm probably butchering that word. The cutting speed is a number of feet that the shaft travels past the cutting tool in a minute. Determine the cutting speed to the nearest foot per minute using this formula. So C's our cutting speed. So I got 3.1416 and then times D. D is a diameter, and that's 3.3. Times N. N's the revolutions per minute, 110, and then 12. Just parenthesize that, and you got it. Parentheses 3.1416 times 3.3 times 110 divided by 12. 95, nearest tenth would be 95.0, which would just be 95. Our nearest foot would just be 95. Cutting speed in feet per minute, put feet, minute. Okay, number 17. 3 cells are connected. In each cell, the internal resistance is 1.7 ohms. The voltage is 2.3 volts. The resistance of the external circuit is 2 ohms. Use this formula here. Determine the circuit current to the nearest tenth of a degree. So I is your circuit current. E is the voltage, which we know is 2.3. Times N is the number of cells. Now look at the picture and it tells you the number of cells. There's 3 of them. Okay, then R, internal resistance, 1.7 times N, number of cells, again, is 3. Okay, so I'm going to put down here 3 cells. And then plus capital R is the external resistance, which is 2. So parenthesize that, and you go from there. Parentheses 2.3 times 3 divided by parentheses 1.7 times 3 plus 2. Okay, it wants it to the nearest tenth. That would be actually 1 full, because there's nowhere, the 9 would round up, but there's nowhere for it to go, so it goes to 1 whole. 1 ampere. That's I's label. I equals 1 ampere. Current in amperes. Okay, next one, number 18. Remember to put 18. Nope, I guess I must just, oh, those were backwards. And the last story problem we have. Okay. A tapered pin is shown in this figure. Compute the length of the side to the nearest 1/10 milliliter using this formula. S equals, okay? Get a parentheses. Capital D is going to be 21 divided by 2 minus little d, lowercase d, 16 divided by 2 to the second. Plus, and then capital L is 32 to the second. Okay. Now I would get that, you could plug that all in, but one thing, okay, you go second square root. The one parentheses comes up on its own, but you need to then put a second one to do just this part. 21 divided by 2 minus 16 divided by 2, close it, second power, okay? And then plus 32 to the second, and then close the final parentheses because the square root ends. Make sure you have 2 closed parentheses to match the 2 open ones, and it'll be good. Okay, one parentheses comes up on its own. That's for the whole square root. You have to put a second one for this little part here. Okay, 32.09, 1/10, so that'd be 0 would round to a 1, so 32.1. 1/10 means 2 decimals out. Okay, millimeters is the